welcome back to PA Truck Up. I'm your host Manny, and today we have one of the most spoken about coaches on this podcast, and it is the one and only AJ Middleton. It's took me 2 fucking years, AJ, two years to get you on. Have you ever wondered how I'm able to run my business, my podcast, and still be able to coach? Well, I use TeamBuilder. TeamBuilder is an all in one coaching software that reduces the amount of time that we spend on the back end of programming, on our Google Sheets, on our Excels, and allows me more freedom to do testing. With this podcast and episodes, I'm actually able to run some programs that I learned through different coaches coming on. To find out how you can use TeamBuilder and how it can apply to your own program, visit the link in the description and catch yourself a 30-day free trial. Just simply use code PACHOCUP, that's PACHALQUP, and start the next stage of your coaching career.
I mean, I had a little free time, but I'm clear now. I've got some time, but just like Matty said, my name's AJ Middleton. Previously at University of Washington, Stanford, and BYU. Now I'm at a Seattle Prep in Seattle, Washington. Probably one of the more elite prep schools in the state. And
So, just to give people a little context behind our relationship, when I was at UW, you were like the lead of the internship. You kind of took us around. You gave us the whiteboard talks, the meathead, the everything that knowledge wise that we needed to go through this industry. You were kind of head spearing it. Um, so how does that sort of come about from like your experiences and what actually you talked and spoke about then?
so at I was also Utah or intern coordinator at BYU too. So it was like where I first learned, how that whole process. And I think being intern coordinator is pretty fun because you have to you got to give a great perception of the industry, but then like still telling the truth. And then coaching is an art, so you have to be able to teach someone who may not know as much, and then she had to visually see something very quickly in the weight room, and that's where I felt like the whiteboard talks, the as simple as like rack setup, how you break stuff down, how you set the weight room. You're kind of like painting a picture with the lift also. So it's been sweet to like teach concepts of what's going on in the weight room, how you build the lift, how you coach different athletes but still get the same standard in the weight room. And and then UW, that's like Coach talking about the whiteboard talks. I mean, it'd be as simple as like, hey, what's this pattern? Like, what's the easiest you could do with it, like a squat or the most advanced? And then I think that's been good for me because at BYU I had returned missionaries, and they may not had, they disappeared for 2 years to serve. That's about the same strength as a eighth or ninth grader, 10th grader coming in the high school weight room. So I've been able to like I dive deeper in my bag, me think outside the box to train younger athletes and beginner athletes, and that is like a way I could serve, future coaches, and they can help athletes, reach certain levels because not everybody's all the same, and you got to train them where they're at. You can't get an eighth or ninth grader to start putting them on automated resistance and put a bunch of bands on them, make them do a bunch of
Mm,
wild drills. They might not even know left from right. So that's how you got to like look at it and coach your group, coach them where they're at, and that's where like you know here I've been able to come up with like a little bit of system. Like it's either they're learning to train, they're training to win, or they expect to win. So I think that kind of categorizes like how much knowledge they have in the weight room, how much you actually have to coach, how advanced the lift could be. And I think those are all like traits like as a coach and the intern to know those things so when they get in the room, they can run the room and like help their athletes run their rack. So it's like there's instead of it being just two coaches in there and 30 athletes, there's 32 coaches in there, and everybody's trying to reach the same goal. So that's been my last intern who was special is Manny at Cassinia. Ryan, they've kind of got to get Cassinia on the show too. Ryan, those guys all Mekhi, all I mean they see stuff before I have to even say anything, and that's like helpful for the room. It helps us get more stuff done to help the athlete because the whole thing in the end is like serving the athlete. We're there to serve, and we got to be able to
mm.
see that stuff quick. So No, that's
In your head, what's the difference between like me and the athlete where they are and me and the coach where they are, and how do they like come together?
last year, for example, like we had the first training groups here, boys and girls distance or boys and girls cross country, football. Two different mentalities. You got the girls who are probably terrified that they're getting ready to step in this weight room, especially seeing me, and then football not maybe understanding where the standard is or where they have their football culture standard, but I need to make sure that this training meets their football standard. And then same thing with distance. Like the distance girls are coming off. I think they just placed super high state within the past 5 years, 4 or 5 years. The boys, I think, were back to back state champs, or for sure last year's won state. So like the girls are kind of learning to train. The boys were they expect to win, but they're like weight room wise, they're probably still learning to train. Football had a training background, but it was like everybody's kind of like learning to train, but training to win. And now I feel like after a year's loop, volleyball had a full year, soccer. I feel like we're all like the whole school's like a training to win, expect to win mentality. It's like they know when they're coming to this weight room, we're here to work. We can look at, which I can show you some pictures. We got TVs projected all over the weight room. They can see the figured out how to use Team Builder whiteboard, which is very helpful. So I just blow the whiteboard up on the
Shout
TV.
out to team
Shout
builder.
Team Builder, hey man, give it, take, drop that price back, help us out. But it's been just easy, bro, to like flow the room, and then I mean it's so. But the training wise, the football distance runners are already going to maybe touch the bar. Like it doesn't, they don't have to do those movements, but you have to give them that pattern, squat pattern.
Mm,
Football, they kind of have to touch the bar, but like you make them earn the bar, so when they get in the bar, they're paying attention, not just flying around. So then it's that's how you like help build the mentality where like they know this is a privilege because they don't have to do. You don't when you're a kid, your training age, you don't have to do advanced movements. You just lifting in position and getting progressive overload is going to help a kid. You're not
mm,
specialization. You ain't. That's not where you're at right now. Now, if you are one of those type of kids, that's a whole nother situation. But majority of athletes or high school athletes are not. So you gotta. That's where you meet them where they're at. Some teams though, you do got to speed them up a little bit. For example, football I didn't speed them up, but I probably got on the front squat quick to make sure we can get to what we need to do. Because if you can get them
mm,
front, football wise, you get them front squat and then pulling, like pulling from the board. We have the trap bar. So main standard, like school wise, I made sure to set up everybody's deadlifting so they can like compete against each other. The girls against the girls, guys against the guys. Everybody's at least a squat pattern. The girls are goblet, but I got the are more like advanced female athletes getting the front squat. Boys just touch back squat in March. So
mm,
they had like an 8 month like a front squat and then a goblet block to reset from the season, and then went their goblet and then eccentric back squat and oil that whole pattern up. So some guys are on back squat to be able to compete. Obviously, the granddad and all the bench press. Try to get the whole school bench pressing because it's just fun. It's just something you know how to do. Chin ups, got a pretty good system progressing chin up for female athletes because we don't have, 6 or 7 pull out machines. So obviously, band assistance to help them. I think our stronger team because probably our distance runners are the closest to being do pull up chin ups for reps. Hugely unilateral programs. So the football team just got to safety bar split squat, which they're the probably furthest ahead along like that uni arrow line. And then we're starting to get kids to touch 2 dumbbell split squat and they're cycling off a goblet split squat. So like it's just whatever's the easiest where they don't have to think because these are prep kids. They're just like I'm not saying it's a higher ed. They have more to worry about than being in this weight room and me teaching them, complex stuff. Like they need me to get in here,
mm.
fly around, lift heavy, train, have fun, listen to music. Got a bunch of playlists. Every team has their own playlist. So if your playlist sucks, that's on you. But I obviously have my playlist from BYU on. My profile is fully loaded. Those who know, you know. So, it's been fun.
You said something before that was quite interesting, and I want you to dive into a little bit more. You said that you have to earn the bar.
Oh, so the earn the bar came from BYU, the return missionaries. We didn't have we had to like earning the bar was understanding like I shouldn't like if I say, hey, what's your feet width and squat? You should be able to blurt that out in an instant. If you can't, then that means your process of getting to the barbell is not, it's not as, you don't want that type of concept. You don't want to have to think when
Mm,
it needs to happen. So like when I, with the, which is more detailed with the girls, like if I say, hey, what squat with, they'll go shoulders, where your toes at, 5 to 15, you know, things like that. Like they'll blurt those things out. Like I even have like a Microsoft Forms. I send out testing to the all the kids. Like I need to see what you know, because you step in this weight room. I put this lift on the TV. I get it's high school, but it's watered down enough where like if this is part of your process, and I'm not even talking about winning, I'm talking about just bettering yourself, like growth mindset, then that it helps to know those things. So the barbell, it took football, I think, like over the summer 4 weeks to where like we started doing eccentric front squats. I let them go as heavy they can on goblet, because if you can't get it, you'll just drop it. I mean, the barbell thing, you got, there's a lot going on. Like our weight room, pretty good size, but I mean, you got to learn the spot. They're high school kid, way different than college, obviously. So like they may not know the spot. There's teaching process, like what happens in the first 3 sets. Like, do you actually spot it for the first 3 sets? Are you making smart jumps? Are you reading the card correctly to help your next teammate? Is the guy with the lowest number going first? Like those are all like, they
mm,
don't know them. Not, I mean, some colleges do, but they don't all know that stuff. So you have to help them with like every single step. And it's been, or at the beginning, and it's been fun seeing like even the girls yell at each other. Like they're about the process. I mean, the girls team here, state champ soccer team, top four volleyball, top eight distance or cross country program, coming off of not placing. Basketball team top eight. You know, bowling. We got some girls. The bowling team starting to lift now. I mean it's trickled up and down, like process driven of what it. Not even about winning, just like bettering, just bettering the school, bettering yourself, and just being a good teammate. So I tell the kids, I'm like, hey, these aren't your friends in here. These are teammates. These are different. Like you're gonna remember these people. Friends, that's one thing, but a teammate's a whole nother environment. Like
mm.
you gotta respect that.
So you're really like teaching processes, teaching concepts as if they were also like interns that when they need to
Oh
go
yeah,
to that next level, they can
yeah,
already like visualize what's going on and understand these concepts.
yeah. You're not gonna like. I want you to be able to. I want you to be able to go to your college, and like it may be different how their process is, but when you hear those buzzwords, bent over row, squat, the deadlift, your split squat concept. Sorry, my charger came out. Those simple words, those should be trigger points. Like soon as you hear split squat, hip width, high knee in and out. Shout out to Stanford.
Mm.
That was Stanford was a big process school. That's where I got to like visually see like how to, you know, be a more like educated meathead. That
Yeah,
shout
I
out to
think
them.
that's also one thing that me and you connected on quite a lot, and it's that meathead meets science, and how like
Yeah.
you processed a lot of the meathead stuff, but you turned it into like a science piece as well. Is that stuff that you learned at Stanford, and how did that sort of get
I'd
developed
say
for you?
it was there. Like it was well, I'd say first I learned the that whole process probably at BYU. We had a saying called fix your face. So like that was where like it those BYU years were, those kids were strong. But then like to have it cleaned up with Stanford, and those kids, Stanford kids are strong too. But I'm saying like that, the BYU we had to pull some traits out of those kids, and they did well. They took it all in, and they did very well. My last year, that team was a pretty successful team, and they've kept that, they've sustained that, you know, that process of how they get down um, over there. But Stanford was a way I could like visually, you know, be able to see some of that stuff, and that was, I had fun there. Uh, Great kids, like I mean, probably all future doctors, politicians. Like that was a good school. And then I think where it all came together, though, obviously you put those two together. That's where UW, and then I mean, we saw that last year. That roster was loaded. I mean, you
Mm,
didn't have to do much. It was cheating, knowing all that stuff, and then helping them, because any little like they took it all in. Like they were very processor. You should see like, because remember we had the activation mornings. Like the kids would do like
mhm.
whatever like required, and they'd go off and they knew like, oh, someone might need their more hamstring stuff, someone might have to do more shoulder activation, someone might have to do, you know, maybe eat more food. Like they knew like what things they needed to eat to have a better practice, or the extra lifting after. But I mean, I like that's where it all came together. Now I'm able to use all the schools, and then now it's here have to throttle all the way back because like
Mm.
they don't need that. They need the process to get to that, but like they not saying they won't benefit from it because the training curve's too far. The training age is too far. So I get to like train age 0 1, and now we're starting to touch like 2 3, which would be like some of the weightlifting stuff. But we're getting them to weightlifting, and that's the goal. Like the football wise end goal, power clean or clean jerk, getting the stats. Like if you take those derivatives and you just build the program up, that's like weight room wise, you can fill all or
Mhm.
check all the boxes from that. And I think one of the big things, like talking to all the science guys, the being able to like form the runs have been like a that's been wild too. Cause like I don't have like all the tech. So it's like you have that hour block. Then you like split up what the what traits you're working on. So we have like Monday, the kids always know what's Monday. They'll go max velocity, smart, because we're like on the field, so they know we have more room, so we get time to open up. So like splitting the run up, putting the like the weighted sleds in, the fly-ins, what's like the volume to get them to camp, because obviously a quarter's a quarter's 12 minutes. You take what
Mm.
like talk to some buddies, take what the uh like Ben and Sam, probably my big science people I call. They're at Ben's at UW, Sam's at Texas. But like you take what a 15-minute is for total. Find an offense that kind of looks like yours, right? Times it by 0.75. Then those are your kind of like metrics for like distances. And then you just kind of like play around with those. And I think, somewhere on the fine. But my 4 weeks I had like dialed into like get them to what like a game looks like distance wise. I don't know if it was perfect, but I mean, I didn't have nothing wild happen last season with the kids, so not as many soft tissues. Made sure to touch 90% every week was a big thing. Helping the coaches with like making sure to get enough cuts in, so like it's not such a shock on the Friday game, and then obviously high school they don't have like the full week, so like the games on Friday, not coming in Sunday.
Mm.
Saturday we got some reasons. It's not to say we're not there 7 days a week, so we have like a recovery lift, and I can like check in on the kids and like let them know and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Monday through Friday.
In the lobby, you actually said something really interesting on how you develop characteristics that are maybe like bucket filling characteristics. So, like if they're very good at um, power, you also want them to be quite quick. And do you actually make them be introduced to more sports and different stimulus? Can you run us through again how that process is done and how you implement these little changes to their training?
Oh, so like how we had, I'll go through our football calendar for last season as we trying to like get touch the other end. So we we've been getting, or actually I'll use this block I just went through. So we had football athletes who uh, didn't do a spring sport, so they got to go through another like armor block full of eccentrics and a couple new bars for them. So football or January we introduced the back squat, obviously got the bench, started doing the complex stuff. Then we got to hang clean and stuff during that spring. And then as the track kids got introduced to the push press, the trap bar pulls, like all that stuff, like the contrast with the pulls and the box jump, the non-spring sports got introduced to low bar trap bar. So I was able to like fix some like mobility concepts, and then we got introduced to the football bar, which is our close grip bar. And then as I built that up, non-spring sports was like getting more centrics, and then the guys that are in season were like doing more explosive stuff, but they were still all on the same implements. So then in June, when we got back together, everybody like had at least seen the bars. So then like this track guys, I had them make them go through like a transition. Maybe didn't make them start their accommodating, but then the guys who knew what the bar felt like. Instead of doing the eights and fives, we were like on triples, dynamic one day, and then the other day is the strength regular bench press. So like on upper body, we got to touch it, the combination with the red bands, close grip, and then for the lower body, we got to the back squat, but then we have a horizontal day on Tuesday. So Mondays are max velocity, Tuesdays are hill sprints horizontal days. So I can get the back squat on the day before, which is like the heavier end of the curve. And then we do our horizontal sprints. I get to touch the faster end of the curve. So I'm touching two ends. And then on the Thursday, Friday, we have our sub max curve day. So it'd be like all the Thursday, took it from Salt Online to Georgia, eat the floor. It's like our work capacity day because I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. I feel they haven't been doing enough grunt work. I just want to see what work. I want to see when stuff
Mm.
gets hard, who's going to work. And I think they're getting better at like encouraging each other and loving each other. Is that so? That's what the big day I'm trying to get out of that. And then Friday we get to do all the fun stuff. Like we have the intro to cut, more field horizontal stuff, our play drives, things that sim like the game. So that's how I've been able to like fill the bucket. So Monday we got like, more elastic, get our deep squatting in. Tuesdays are horizontal stuff. Thursdays are to eat the floor, like work capacity, like see who's gonna work. And then Friday's more like sports specific. I don't say that word much, but that's our
Mm.
COD stuff, our bigger plyometric stuff, and then we do like all the fun bars, a comedy position on the close grip, got the overhead squat in. So we just have like a day where like they get to feel
Nice.
bottom positions. And I've seen, hey, the overhead squat, hey man, they start to. I've seen the overhead squat and it's cleaning up the snatch because then the snatch is on a
Mm.
Monday, so then like everything kind of like loops around and they just keep getting cleaner and cleaner with their movements and a little more twitch, you know, just trying to get it out of them, but like in a like just slow cooking them. They just
Hmm.
keep touching the same movements. Nothing wild. Like they'll all change the volume or like mess with the movements and like their volume stuff because that's whatever. But like the big lifts, aggressive overload, make sure they can like own some of these positions because they're
Yeah.
kids. The better, the more, you know, they dive in the
Exposure they have.
process of their exposure of the same thing. It's gonna be better than like changing it up.
While I was at UW, you had this amazing concept, and it's one that I still use to this day, and it's the armor building and
Oh,
how that prepares you for the season. Can you go through your that concept and how you essentially build it into their off season or preseason, and how that carries through the in season?
the winning the full month, obviously using the off season for the armor, and it's like the armor building. We find a way to get. So January we had that concept where it was like everything was eccentric. Like a 3 week, and this is all basic stuff, but the like a 3 weeks of eccentric and then 3 weeks of hold, and then on the back end, like there's volume everywhere to like make sure that like those parts say upper back volume, the hamstring volume, glute volume, all the hip stuff. We do like something hip every day, something upper back, something calves, something like knee stability stuff. Like there's always something built in the warm up to get to make sure like you're not touching a whole bunch that day, but you're like slowly like filling that bucket every single day. And that I know for sure that the January block that was for lacrosse and football helped lacrosse football players stay healthier, and it was a smoother transition because these lacrosse guys, they got to go straight from lacrosse to spring football. So in Washington, spring
Mm.
football is not. I don't know what the other states are, but I know I've always known for football to be in June. The lacrosse team is most of the football team. Some of our main guys, they had to take a week transition and then go to football. So with the armor built that January or that I'd say it's perfect. I don't know. I read it in a book, but December, January, they were able to build that concept, keep some of the volume stuff in their accessory lifts when they go through the season, and then a good transition of see where maybe like any nicks and owies might be, and then program that extra stuff in there so they can so they could get back to football. And yeah, I like our whole team. Like it's the turnout's been good. It's high percentage. We're seeing our stars starting to lead. People starting to talk. Like big thing is just getting like get them to talk. Like get them to like each other,
Mm.
love each other. Like that was a big thing. I noticed that like those 10-win teams, like they cared about each other. Like it wasn't perfect. They may not liked each other, but they cared enough to like say something like help their teammate because in the end,
Mm.
everybody's same goal. It's a whole nother season. So I've seen that they like each other a lot or care about each other.
I think that's what makes a team successful. It's not so much the talent within it; it's their ability to collaborate and push each other when push comes to shove.
Yeah. So it's
Um, I kind of want to lead into a story from UW, um, and it's the different terminologies from the UK to the US. Um, when we were recruiting, you're all like you're like in the nicest way possible. You're loud. You will shout things and you will communicate with people. Like it's a positive. I am meaning it in a positive way. But when recruits came in, you'd be like, you've got the beasts coming in, or you've got like the mutants coming in.
oh
Now
hey
I don't know
man.
if I don't know if I said this to you at the time, but it's a story that's still stuck to me with me. And it's like mutant. If you call someone a mutant in the UK, like that's very offensive.
Dang, man.
So when you shouted that, like in my head, I was like, AJ, I thought we were trying to recruit them.
Hey man. So where that came from, and I again the linebacker. I don't. Either way, the linebacker. The linebackers, we had like a chat, and it became all of R1, linebackers and running backs. But it was the Husky Institute for Higher Learning because UW obviously higher education institute, right? Talented kids all over the place. So that Professor X had that school, bunch of mutants, like kids misunderstood. Like you're a Division One athlete, you take the Army Institute, you're the 0.02% in America. You are misunderstood. Like no one could do anything you can do, whether that be academically and physically. So like to me, mutant is like a positive. So that was like the name of our group. And then that's why you always heard me shout LLTI, or you saw R1 on my post. Those who follow me, like that's what that stuff meant. Like I cared about those kids. So, and now I got my two boys. They're future LLTI kids. We're in the process, but no,
I mean, I think
I
you might enjoy this, AJ.
look at oh yes, definitely a great mutant.
I've
That was
got
a good one.
I've got a bunch of comics from Blade, Wolverine, like just a whole bunch.
There, no, those are. But I mean, it's just a mentality. It's a mentality. Like they're like mutants. Well, the good ones help people. Like it's always your like here the shadow prep mission. It's men and women for other. You got to be for other people. You want to serve. You want to be positive. So that's where that came from.
Yeah, but like when you said that, I was very confused because obviously I'm in the UK, and
Lost
like
in translation.
if someone calls me a mutant, we're fighting. It's on site.
Oh man, that's funny. No, I did
um,
not know that. Oh, it's good to know. I won't say that out there. Won't say it there.
um, but going back to the whiteboards and stuff that I learned, and again, I loved your concepts because you made them simple enough, but like you also had to apply a little bit of common sense, and I do think a lot of people lack that sometimes. Um, but like your posterior chain stuff, and you actually send me your posterior chain program, and like it's something I rotate into quite a bit.
That's a
Can
fun one. You
you?
know what's funny? Yeah. At with Stanford, I had wrote it or I had to write it, but we were introducing the glute hammy race. So like I
Mm,
actually learned it from at BYU the process of how to like get kids first getting them comfortable with back extension machine. Like we got kids still doing we still have a process where it's back extension iso hold so they learn to use like their whole system. We got the skills, the single leg back extension, right? So you just like learning to use the whole system. Then you're learning the top position. And then if obviously I probably would bigger schools, process a little quicker. Like you could probably band them up pretty fast and like assisted GHR. But here I went bent knee back extension so they'll learn to hold the top position, right? So you
mhm.
go back extension, bent knee back extension, and then and you can put bands all over the place to help accommodate them. Uh, then you get to bent knee with razor, right?
Hmm.
Bent knee razor,
Yep.
and then you have the banded accommodation GHR, regular GHR, weighted GHR. So that's that knee dominant. You can, if you got inverse curls all over the place, you don't need any of that. You could go straight
Mm.
counterbalance till the cows come home, and you can just build the GHR like that. Or what you did, BYU, we had the skills. They were doing single leg inverse curl. Boy, you want to talk about something blow you up? Single leg inverse curl is nuts. Like it's a
Hmm.
very hard drill. And then we did like for guys, and this is where Stanford. That's what saying credit for like seeing stuff, or at least seeing the science. Like the force plate test when they jump, like if they had an imbalance, we would go ISO because we didn't have the inverse curls, but you could make the inverse curl, and we made like the guys that imbalance. They were, and this was this block. Uh, they would do ISO single leg GHR, and they would just work to make sure that like the whole like that leg was firing, and then do that for a couple weeks. So then it was like they were bucketed in groups. Like obviously, if you just didn't have force, you were going volume legs like leg curls, glute bridge stuff to fix old chain. Oh yeah. Then if you had like maybe didn't fire force fast enough, you would do ISO, glute bridge stuff to help fire more efficiently. And then if you had an imbalance, you would go the single leg to bring up the single leg or bring up the one leg that would help with the imbalance.
Mm.
So that's how that's how we
I
built that
think.
chain. That's a slow one, but
Hmm. I think from that, I really learned the importance of the strengthening the whole muscle. So starting with like your knee dominant and then your hip, and like really making sure that the strength is obviously it can be equal, but you're strong from both sides
yeah.
to keep up
No,
with the demands.
yeah, so that was, I mean, I want to be able to present on that concept, want get it out there, but that's how I like in my head, like you're saying, knee and hip, knee speed or knee hammies different than hip hammy. At least that's how I see it.
Hmm.
So that's how I've like programmed it for the kids to make sure they have like volume glute to make sure that helps fuel the hamstring and then keep the
Hmm.
hamstring tied in with or keep the hamstring strong with the glute. So seemed like it
Yeah,
worked.
no, like it makes sense because like when you're if we're thinking about running mechanics and how injuries happen, like it is at the full extension, so that's a little bit more of the knee dominant,
Mm,
but you also can only run as fast as your hammies can deal with the load. So
yeah,
again, sprinting is about how quick and how hard you can hit the floor continuously,
yeah.
and making sure that you've got strength on both ends helps you move quicker.
Or yeah, that's why I might like to split the days up. Like we're working horizontal. There's a lot of like glute prep getting into being able to push long. We got the band stuff, or we got our band marches, or lateral stuff. Big thing, making sure the adductors super strong for that. Um, the leg curls. So we got all uh, the wheelie roller leg curls things. I feel like those have been helpful because I found on Graham, we added it's like weighted leg curls. I know everybody's seen it, but like we don't have 10 leg curl machines. But if you put a 20 or 40, 50 pound dumbbell on your hips, you have to
Mm.
squeeze harder through your glutes to get your heels to your butt. Way different stem. If you got weak glutes, you're not gonna have a good curl. So it's a way to like br- bring where machines can help. Because I like machines. Like if we had a full weight room full of machines, I'm fine with it. They bring weak parts up quick, but you got to find a way to give the stem needed. Kids can get out of their hamstring and get in their glutes.
And I think so. I've currently been exploring banded leg curls, but not like in all positions of the rack. So like starting at the bottom, mid, top, seated. What else have I tried?
You mean
Like
like
someone
position wise?
holding it. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just to see how it actually changes the resistance. So like the one, so I'll loop it up at the pull up bar, and then like I'm
Oh, the
in a lying
GHR,
position.
GHR from the band up top. Is that you talking
Not
about?
GHR, just a leg curl.
Oh, okay, okay.
That one fucking burns. And then I'll be messing around with um just like on the pole, and I'm like lying on my stomach and pulling my leg back.
Oh, and then just going like this with your
Mm,
oh that one probably I can see the one burning, but as I look at the racks, like, can I do? I see, yeah, I definitely see the one where you're like hitting the like maybe like a thick green band on the J hooks.
mhm.
Yeah, that could.
Yeah, I've been messing around with them, and I'm burning afterwards.
Oh yeah, there's so many. I mean, there's it's crazy to think like remember on the whiteboard, I used to be like, hey, I write squat up top, write a squat pattern. You guys had
Yeah, regress, progress. Let's fucking go.
yeah, hey, how many dumbbells? And someone like write something wild long, but I mean, it's just you gotta like I don't know where I read, probably somewhere in Graham, but it was like you gotta train in your weight room. You gotta train with
Mm,
what you have in your
mhm,
weight. I got here a week before. Make sure to see the weight room before I started, and like visual. I'm like, okay, what do we do here? What do we at UW? What was the system? What we do at BYU? What we do at Stanford? Like, took all those notes, took what I liked. How do we build what we had? And this weight room was loaded already. Before I got here, they had a great program before, like people were training, but just to see how to enhance. They were already winning. I mean, but
mm,
where do I serve? So, and I think we're doing all right. We got like we have the weight room, but we have roll ups. So you open the roll ups. You put the Olympic bars and the rubber plates out on the floor. You got a D1 facility. You apply
mm.
box over the corner, all the bars out. You don't have to cram everybody in the little room. Like just make the room work for what's happening at the moment. It's
I
been
mean,
for the
I always
board.
say you're as limited as your imagination in the weight room.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
It's like
I've once made a sled pull with like those step up boxes, like the old school ones from like the
the one
aerobic
with
classes.
handles in it, like the handles on the
Uh
side.
no, so like the old aerobic step ups with like the
Oh
little
yes, the one you
levels.
build with the plastics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I had one of those. I like flipped it, put a bunch of kettlebells in, tied the bottle rope to one of the kettlebells, and just fucking used it as a sled pull.
so I'm saying, hey man, I saw a kid today. I was like, hey, I need you to put these wheels in this prowler, set it up like this. I went upstairs and he created a setup by himself. Just to put in perspective how these kids like they're bright kids. Like they'll find a way to do it. If they want to do it, they'll find a way. So that's what
Mm,
I'm saying, trying to get them to think like that when they lift. Like, if you want to do this, I've seen you. I know you can.
yeah.
So no, they're cool.
This kind of takes me to the next concept that you taught me, and I already done it, but like unknowingly, but then you like fortified it, and it comes a little bit from your bodybuilding and other sports that you've done, and it's a dark side of training and why
Oh,
that's useful.
here we call it the deep end because it's safer for kids. So kids,
I
but
love
yes.
that.
So and the football they use deep bars, but pan, like Panther strength. It's like every program I'm teaching them, we go to the deep end. We're gonna see if they can swim. Like we don't care about the wins, the loss. We gonna see if they can swim. So that's what I've been preaching with all the programs. So like distance wise, it's like, hey, we're gonna grab this girl or guy by their hair. We're gonna run them out of here. Then like so I found out like distance wise, right? Think about team process, right? I think coaches told me 6 run, but 5 score for cross country, right? But could you imagine, right? You let the first runners probably, I think, is they just off they go. They're supposed to run, and the lowest score wins, right? But could you imagine your 4 other runners take off? Those girls score, but then you got your 6 that's like, hey, I'm stronger than more of them. I'm gonna take their spots so we can have a lower number because they got to get a higher number if I finish before them. So like that within that concept for that's how I like for cross country how I talked in of like, hey, everyone here in your mind, you think you can score. If you can't score, you take points from somebody. So
Mm,
that for distance wise in volleyball, it's like the deep end is like playing above the net. So
mm.
it doesn't matter. Your spike in the first game is the same spike in the fifth game if you have to. But
So
through
having that
process
endurance
wise,
to keep
we
up
only need
with
three.
the
We need three.
mm,
So, and then soccer wise, it's just like early and often. Score first, win first. Because you score off the rip, kid mentality, just keep scoring. Energy starts to go down before you know it, it's 3
hmm
0. and then you let your other
Hmm.
teammates play, and then deep water, like deep end for football. They go deep. I didn't know. I mean, I knew it was deep water. I was like, oh, I'll use the same concept, deep end, deep water. But the deep end is like it's like when it's the same force in the first, the same detail. Doesn't matter the score. Doesn't matter the situation. We're going to be always in every game, and we're in the those that see the podcast and watch it. We're in the Metro. Probably the hardest conference in the state. I don't care. Come see us. But basketball, football, all of them. So we at prep, we do what we need to do, and like we feel like our edge is taking people out and seeing if they can swim. That's our edge. So
how im-
that's how we
how
train all
important
of
is
them.
that psychology piece for you?
I think it's pretty big because at UW I saw how important it was. Like the first year we were there was like, and I'll reference Graham. Like when we made a bowl game that first year, like they made the Grand Post and everybody was all happy. No one even remembers the sixth game last season. There was one goal. It was like, okay, what's next? What's next? What are we doing? So that was a testament to like the mentality and those kids because those are tough kids. So, oh man, those are not kids. I mean, we saw some numbers in that weight room. Those guys are far from kids.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, that
AJ,
was it.
AJ, listen, you might know who I'm talking about. I'm not. I tend to refrain from naming athletes on this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can you remember the racks I had? OL and DL.
Oh yeah, yeah. You were behind me,
Yes.
right? Yeah,
No.
that's when you guys were
Side. You're beside me the whole time.
rack
2022.
two. Oh, rack. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
One of them is now Obama.
Player wise.
Yeah. He. Fuck it, he's a center.
Oh, oh yeah. That dude, man. I
So
remember.
he
Well,
was
I'll say
18.
this.
He was
Yeah.
18 when I was there. He was 18 when I was there.
Oh, this is the
He th-
devil lift, right? Is this the
no,
devil
we were
lift?
doing combine prep.
Oh, okay. Trying to remember.
225. He threw up a fucking 22 piece. AJ. I was almost a fucking decade older than him. Almost.
Oh, that
And
dude's
he
a
threw up a
man.
fucking 22 piece. I was like, what the fuck?
I told when we were in devil lifts, when I told people, I was like, "Yo, this guy wants it. I'm telling you, this is the guy." And I still, like I said, I randomly message him. I'm like, I'm proud of all that. Every athlete I've been around, I'm proud of. But that, I mean, these devil is special. That devil group, I mean, no one they. I think they need more credit. They're the scout, and they have to live heavy. Our
Mm,
devil group, every school we've been at, whew, BYU especially. Like my first demo group was at BYU, and it was like this is the legacy group, and it was like I wanted to make T-shirts that had a leg you
mm,
could see across, and they had the Y on the end. And I was sending this to them, but then like that team 4 years later, they went 11-1 with a yard shy of an NY6 game. That team, and there were dogs on that
mm.
2020. I don't care what year. No, those guys are still doing very well.
Can you explain what the devil group is?
So the development group. So it's like the freshman lift. So like all those guys, like the guys that aren't traveling, the guys that got to do the extra was like we started Battle of the Cut at UW, which I thought was pretty fun. So we do all these games every do the pump for the game. So at least the guys look
Mm,
super ballooned up when they're on TV. They get seen. But the development group, like if you set the culture, like positive culture early,
hmm.
that like this is our process, then they teach the younger guys, and then those younger guys teach the younger guys. And before you know it, you ain't even yelling no more. Like they're chewing each other out in a positive
Can
way with love.
um so and when the internship started, I was a day late because I got held up at border patrol. Fucking Canadians. Uh,
Crazy.
um, so the first session I ever saw at UW was the freshman day one.
You go, I go.
Yes. No, no, no.
If
Yes,
it's
yes, yes,
president,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes. And I was in your rack, and like I hadn't been experienced, like I hadn't got exposure to the day before, which you run through all the systems, everything that happens, all the shouting, all the yelling. So day one, hour one, music gets turned the fuck up. like we can't hear each other. All we can hear is you yelling, and you're next to me, just fucking yelling your eyes out, like your heart out, and I'm like,
Oh
"Fuck,
man.
I'm home. I am home."
Those freshman welcome weeks were so fun. Oh my gosh, those
They
are
were
good
nuts.
times.
Like I still speak to some of those guys. I still speak to some of those guys, and they're fucking special.
Yeah, those are any
There's
kid who goes through all college kids that got every. It may not be like the same lips, but it's definitely the same chaos.
mm,
Like it's like welcome to college. Da, 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 like it's man.
the twins that we had.
Oh yeah, animals.
Um,
They're strong.
so one of them was injured, and I had him on the return to play. So like I was with him every single day, but he so happened to be on the rack next to me during his session. So Colin was the coach next to me,
Oh yeah,
Dixie.
yeah, yeah. He's at is
Um,
he big
he's
baseball
at
now,
UW
right?
still.
Yeah, yeah. Back at oh
He's
yeah,
with
nice, nice,
baseball.
nice. Yeah, made it back. Made a
Yeah,
run in the U.S. doing some things. Shout out to
he
Colin.
did football as well. Actually, he was at
Purple School in Texas, I thought, right?
yeah, it
Abilene
was
Christian.
Axe something.
I know he was at college somewhere in Texas, but yeah, I remember seeing it. Got that. I was like, that was pretty sweet.
Um, but like anytime that I saw was like a safe exercise, I'd be like, I bet you can't do an extra 5 reps. And he'd be like, got you, coach.
Man,
And
those
he
guys,
fucking went.
those are good
He
kids, man.
fucking went.
All those kids, man. Those man, I remember that because you had his RTP. I remember him coming back.
Mhm.
Oh man, those are
AJ, you've no idea how fucking I was shitting myself for that first time. I still remember it to this day how exactly went down. Like Coach Mac came across to us, well, you and the intern group, and you were like, "We need someone on RTP. Who have you got, AJ?" And you were like, "Manny, go." What the fuck? Like no program, no program. I was just winging. I got to that weight room and I was like, "Well, I fucking sink or swim."
hey, that's half the battle. You gotta just look like you know what you're doing. At that point, and then you just figure it out. You gotta
What made it worse
confidence is
was
a big thing.
when you came back to the weight room, you was like, "Let's go, Manny." I was like, "I've messed up so much."
So it's all right. It's all right, man. That's what
Like on
internships
the
are for.
outside, I was cool. I was cool, but like that taught me a lot, and I think that kind of goes back to the importance that you place on. We'll give you an opportunity, and it's up to you to either run with it and fucking make it, or you can just crumble against it and just fucking get pushed to something else.
Internships are. I mean, I remember my first one. I was at SC, and boo boy, good times. But I mean, you gotta fight. Gotta fight.
I believe that.
Literally fight on. It was that fight. It was fun though. Though that whole experience, like I'm just like, and that's big ball. SC's big
Mm.
ball. That was
I've
2015.
I'm now in contact with some of those coaches, and they're different.
Oh yeah, it's those are good times. But that was like you seeing me, how you were that moment. That's how I was looking at those guys, 2015.
Mm. Like so in my head, like I was like, I'm at a D1 school. I'm not obviously at the time I wasn't well versed with the collegiate system. But I was like, I'm a D1. If I fuck up, I'm gone. And like
No,
I'm in the US for then. Like I think that was like week 2. I got put in that, and I was
mm-hmm.
like, fuck.
Oh man, dude, that was oh what good times, man. That was yeah. That I think that's probably one of the things that's like helped just coaching because you like peel it back and you can like see all of it and like how to like you always can make it better like that and that gives you an opportunity to do that with the internship because it's always built like you're always if you're always teaching then you have to like learn and be able to like
Mm,
apply those new things, like things you see that can make it not new, but see something that how it's maybe probably been done because strength wise, not much is new. It's just like how it's interpreted or how it's seen or how it's taught
mm.
to get to that point. But yeah, no, it's been good. I don't have
You also
well, I don't have interns here, but I mean, just like you said, we're trying to build 30, 40, or 500 coaches at that point. So the
Mm.
amount of kids that train.
You talk a lot about bodybuilding, and I know you kind of mean hypertrophy, but can you expand on your system across there?
Well, I mean, it's just so it's. I think like part of the main thing I took from bodybuilding when I did it was like how to actually get get out something out of the muscle. Like if we,
Mm,
and I know obviously athletically it's not that's not bodybuilding's not that, but it's like you're armoring up. So an armor up concept for an athlete would be complexes. That's what I like using for armoring. um, weightlifting complex, and it helps. It just helps like just the patterning, the elucidate for the complex. But so how I use like the armor building concepts, it'd be like volume squatting, but you'd have to get to the point where you're good at the squat. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think you have to actually be a good lifter to be good at bodybuilding. Like you can't bodybuild if you're not good
mm.
at lifting because when you get in your
You need
later
to feel it.
sets, yeah, you get in your later sets, you're not where you're supposed to be at. So like we used to do one of our blocks, BYU, very good block by the way. We would go our sets like sets of threes, like through maybe like 8 sec, and then end with a set of 20. But like it took us
Mm,
years to get to the point where like maybe a kid can knock out a set of 20 and stay in his legs. So that
okay.
real
Yeah.
bodybuilding I think takes time. So you have to
Mm,
get the kid to the point where they can actually benefit from armor building because if you're not building armor in the right, right areas, then it doesn't matter. So that's where all the whiteboard stuff comes in. Like you got to get the kid, you got to get the point where the kids are taking the machine away. So like one of the drills I use to like teach rowing, obviously everybody does, but chest support row because you don't have to use your legs. If you have
mm,
weak legs, you're not gonna have a good row. So you go DV chest support row to potentially two dumbbell row or one dumbbell row because then you still have an anchor because your hands on the bench to two dumbbell rows. Once you're able to hold a tabletop on two dumbbell row, then I might let you touch barbell bent over row, but then it turns into something completely different. So it's like, do I just hold dumbbell and then my other obviously our favorite one the plank row with the board on the rack, but I have to we got some complications. But once I get that plank row in, we put that 2x4 on the catches, and we start doing a row like that. That's my favorite row because you don't have to use your legs. You get to teach a kid to use your hips. You tell them to put their face in the wood, get on the wood thing, and you put your elbows behind your back.
mm.
So that's basically. I mean, that's like one of the more fun row things. I mean, I've seen kids row like 225, 250, probably
Yeah.
275. I mean, hey, if you got a strong back, you can get away with some stuff.
Hmm.
So
I think that
that's
it kind of ties back into the posterior chain stuff.
yeah.
And like, not, even before I was with you, like I always placed a great importance on the post chain, but like so much, you actually said like the pyramid should start with strength, but strength in the back, because then that pyramid is solid throughout.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the if you get a strong pull and strong RDL, then the RDL and pull fixes your back. Like you don't have to like. I mean, you can't. You do, but I mean, like you get a strong pull, you have a strong post chain back all the way down. Throw some chin ups in. Now you're and then throw the military press in. So now like your vertical pull's clean. You get strong enough legs. You do some real weight on rowing. You're touching 315 on row. I don't know. Those are you dream for the kid. That's what
Mhm.
I'm telling. Like I gotta remember what a high school number is, but like in college, I'm like at BYU's like, hey, that's cool. So like it was always so funny. Like it was encouraging. The kid would maybe do a weight they didn't know they could do. So I mean, it's just been fun, just like that environment. Weightlifting is a positive environment. Like you think about
Mm,
like the the first time you bench 225 like that's first time you bench one wheel like that's I'm seeing kids who like AJ coach AJ I just benched 135 and I have to remember like that's where
yeah,
like the first time I benched 135 the first time you know what I'm saying you got to remember where that kid's at 14 18 that's definitely been the new thing because I haven't really been around high school kids a long time so just like it's like every accomplishment is a celebration. Like
yeah.
You held the wall sit longer. The plank's cleaner. You're doing a chin up with one band. Like, I mean, it's because they don't have to be in here.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's got to be positive. Like, I want them to come back. Way different in college. Those who've been in my rack know. Shout out to Triple C, LOTI. They know they are. Rack 3, they know they are. But um, yeah, it's just got to be encouraged. It's supposed to be fun. And the runs, I mean, get after it. That's what the emphasis,
How have
understand what's
you
going on.
how have you built that sort of buy-in from them not having to be in there?
So they before they had to, but I mean, I probably we might be now as like more culture expecting a little more out of them because like the team builder has like all the documents that I put the schedule on there, the nutrition, the recovery videos. There's files like it's every team has their own file. They know what's. I mean, it's the expectation is higher, but they're getting the resources to meet the. I
To
wouldn't
keep
just tell
up
their
with it.
kids. Now in college like we show up, this period's like you better find it. But like high school, we gotta like, and then most of the time it's not even on them. It's like it's the you gotta you gotta tell the parent like, which is fair. Like
Mm.
they're kids, so like that's what I've had to. I'm trying to get better about. It's like alerting the parents, like, hey, tell your parents, tell your parents. So that's man. Um, and then like more funny if they're like late, like I'm not gonna, we call it realigning. I'm not gonna realign a kid if he doesn't have a license. Now the kids that have license, they get held. I know who's like driving themselves. So I like have a mental list in my head who didn't wake up. Like who's a senior. Obviously they're the senior who has the car, who's like late on their accord, not their parents had to drive them.
Mm.
So that's been those are some things I had to like I've gotten a little better at. So yeah, like it's different across the board based on grade. Like as they get more junior, senior, you start treating them more like college prep kids. And then I find out like who actually like you want to play college, it doesn't mean I'm not meaner to you. I'm just saying the standards a little higher
Mm.
because now you've said to me you wanted to play in college. And it's
Yeah.
tough. Like we've seen it. And now it's even
Mm.
tougher with the portal. So like you're not gonna like if I'm a coach, I'm not gonna go get a little freshman who maybe not know what they're doing. I'll just get a portal kid. If you're gonna come out fresh and go to college, like that's a different mentality now, and that's what I'm trying to tell the kids, being positive about it. But that's where we're at now. Before it wasn't like that. So
Are you finding that there's a harder thing for them to get into the collegiate setting because of the NIL?
well, I haven't like I think for being there. I mean, I feel like you have a better shot when you're like a higher star athlete, like get in as a freshman. But
Mm.
I don't know how it's like. Like if you're not the 4 or 5, like I don't that I feel like that's tough, and you have to like take another route. But you can close the gap if you're a 2, 3 and catch up. I feel I'd be like this would be the edge at all high school kids. Like if that's the goal, because I mean I know, and then with the what no walk-ons now, so like it's like having to like keep up with like learning what the new college standard is to get build to help the kid, reach their goals. So yeah, like that. I feel like physically they don't have a certain quality like within their mentality and their like attributes that they have. It's probably hard to get picked up as a freshman if you're not like a 5 star.
What would be a piece of advice that you have for new coaches or coaches coming into the industry?
Think forward. So like as a that was one of the things that my internship like I wish I'd done a little better was like think forward. I mean like you see the process, but you got to be like steps ahead because they're the coaches vouch for you if they can understand that you like can do things for like you see things fast like you get you definitely you did Maggie and all them Ryan like senior like I feel like I could like hand you something and I know I probably didn't say it clear enough. I'm sorry, but you guys know how I think, and like I'd walk out and it'd be done. I'm like, oh, that's my bad. Yes, but you're understanding like the process of like what's happening for that day within the system that you're at. So definitely thinking forward would be
Yeah.
word of advice. Um, be just to serve. Before, I mean, this one of my guys told me I used to carry a little notepad in my fanny pack. Oh, get a fanny pack so you can have your stuff on you. You need to be somewhere. But I used to carry a notepad in my fanny pack, and I'd always just take notes to make sure I always could reference, because you don't want to have your phone out, because a phone looks like you're not paying attention, but a notepad looks way more dialed in
Mm,
than a phone. So that, and be in the moment where you're at, like be where you're at in that moment, just like we tell, or like how we train the kids. Like I I appreciated everywhere I was at. Like no matter if
mm,
it was short, long, I learned something from all the schools, and you take from all the schools, and you build the program how you see fit where you're at later on in your years. And then when you have an opportunity to talk, just be detailed in it and let them answer the question fully in that concept. So that'd be my
yeah,
advice to like new coaches. I don't know what it's like. I mean, that man, what was that, like 12 years ago? I don't know what it's like getting it now with everything, because man, crazy,
I think
way different.
when I was there, I think I kind of saw it like you have to be a little bit of a mind reader, and that's actually something I said to Coach Mark on my exit interview.
Uh,
And like it's not that you aren't telling us all the details, because all the details are there, but you just have to, like, again, I asked a lot of questions. Like I fucking, like, after every session I had a bunch of questions lined up for anyone that would listen.
we
And
appreciate it.
even when I was getting instructions, I would ask for clarifying questions. Like I think one example that I can think of was Z press. We're doing Z press, and I was like, "Are we doing it in the rack or out of the rack?" Because that would depend on where we set up the bar. And you're like, "Good point, out of the rack." And I was like, "Cool." So like then the mind reading process didn't have to be so much. I would just have to figure out, okay, if it's on the outside, J hooks have to be on the outside, and we prepare the bar with whatever way we have to have, and then
Mhm.
I can do it for every single rack. But it's like it's a kind of anticipating and using common sense to be like, okay, if we're doing hurdles and we're doing them in the weight room, and this is one part that you kind of like, Mario, what the fuck are you doing? I had said I'm too close to each other, and you're like, these are fucking big guys.
Oh, I mean, I'm learning too. I mean, what's that? Third, fifth year intern program. I'm nicer now. The kids, I got high school kids, a little different now. I don't have to do that.
To be fair, like it wasn't bad. I did exaggerate a little bit, but you were kind of like, man, come on. But it was like that kind of thing. Like I'd set up everything perfect. Like everything was where it needed to be. It was just the spacing. But like that again comes from the clarifying questions. It's like, okay, I'm setting this up. Cool. What are the specifics? Are we in? Are we out? Spacing? Are we foot, hip, width? Like
Yeah.
what's the sort of avenue that we're kind of aiming to target there?
It's
And
funny you say that. Today, so we were. That's what I feel like I've even gotten. So you guys know people have the mind read, like, and the kids. I feel like I do it more with the kids. Like, I've slowed down how I've instructed movements or set up, and I could feel it slower, but I feel it is more detailed. Like today, the kid was like, I was like, "Hey, what size shoe you wear?" He goes 11. I'm like, "Hey, I need three of those, and if you're 11, you get to do this hurdle spacing." Funny you say that. Yeah, I was like
mm,
311 hurdle spacings. Set this up low high. Just like I feel like I've gotten more with how to instruct for the kid, because it's like you got to be like, it's this clip. Put the J hook at this height. Feet's here. My favorite. Hey, I'm demoing this way, but you're going that
mm,
way. So like, I mean, it's been good. I feel like it's helped me a little more be even a better coach, because like they should not, especially those kids, they should not the mind read, and they've definitely
mm.
never they haven't seen it like that. So
I think as
no,
well as like, so I was actually speaking to a coach this morning, and we were
nice.
talking about the coaching to teaching aspect, and it shouldn't be like you're either a coach or you're a teacher. Like they should all feed off each other. And it's like, I'm saying this because I literally drew it down. So it's kind of like this:
Oh yeah,
teaching rolls into coaching, loads into teaching, and it's like by slowing things down, you're actually having to become better at explaining exactly what you mean, and vice
yeah,
versa. The slower and more precise you can teach, the more effective your coaching will be.
yeah. No, that's been, and especially with like the 14, 15, 16-year-old girl who's never been away from, who's probably terrified. Like I'm not throwing a barbell on them, but I'm gonna make them feel like they can grab at this moment like any dumbbell, goblet squat it. They can set their trap bar up. They know their box height. They know their feet width and anytime they're doing upper body stuff. They know how to set up. Like I don't the cross country team, I could hand them the card and walk away. That's probably and I probably should coach the boys like that too, but I feel like they kind of should know, but I'm getting better at it. But the girls I've noticed, like I can hand them the card and walk away. They might have a few like detail questions because AJ programmed it. I mean, it's like I'm thinking something is like 4 steps down the line, but like they'll ask a few questions, they'll set up the whole weight room. Won't even have to like help them. So that's I've seen like a bigger like training like kids or their training age go up in the women's cross country team. Well, the whole school female dependent or female athletes I've seen their like training age increase pretty quickly just by being able to flow the room and that confidence in the
Mhm.
room. And the boys are obviously doing well too, but I mean they're more comfortable in the weight room.
Yeah.
Should be, but yes.
No, this is perfect. Thank you so much, AJ, for coming on and
Oh, that was
spending
I
some
didn't know
time
how
with
much.
us.
Yeah, because I'm not as smart as Garage Strength. I don't. I mean, I know stuff, but they like they got Olympians. Like I might have a few. I do have this one girl. Be on the lookout. She might be. I think there's a few girls here that you guys too. You're gonna hear about it. We're gonna hear about them.
Again, like I've said from the beginning, this podcast isn't like super scientific. It's not super
Oh yeah,
anal about things. I just like to have a good conversation about the weight room and how people process and coach. I think that's where, again, I've always been more of a conversational type. I like strict questions. It's not that they bore me, but it freaks me out because like we can't have that banter, we can't have that conversation
yeah,
and
yeah.
way from topic to topic.
Makes sense. Oh, who you
Yeah.
got going coming next, or try to?
Um, I will
You
tell
think?
you off, bro, AJ. So one thing that we know about Fink is that he loves competition.
Oh yeah, loves it.
Um, so actually, so while I was there, I had to know the coaches on a personal level. Like you spoke a lot about your family, we spoke about like stuff to do with them, and I got to know you and your systems a lot from that. Think I only managed to break through with him on like I think I had 2 or 3 weeks left on the internship, and the only reason this came about, it was like one of those menial jobs that it was up for anyone, and I walked up to Fink and I was like, rock, paper, scissors. And he was like, fucking let's go. So me and him played rock, paper,
Okay.
scissors. AJ, from that point on, we played rock, paper, scissors every single day.
Dude, he's a good man. Fink, I learned a lot from
I love
Fink. His process, like my process, one thing I think being around him, my process I had to like learn to say, because like, and I like others like, my head's like I know what I'm in my head, what's going like
mhm.
the training wise, boom boom, but like being around him, like he's so good at like the process because he's been a head coach. It's like it's been his. He knows what he wants. So it's like yeah, it's been fun, and we went golfing a lot. He's a good golfer.
He's a
He's a
good
good
at
golfer.
everything. He's
Yeah,
frustrating.
he's a dude. It's crazy.
I spoke to Fred Hale, who he was at Eastern with.
Yeah.
Um, and he was like off like on the lobby, he was like explaining me some of the process that they would go through, and I was like fuck. And Fink actually taught me a lot about programming itself.
Oh
Like he
yeah,
broke
yeah.
down
Great
the
programmer.
tier system and I was like fuck.
Your sister's crazy. Yeah. Joke. I mean, it's so basic if you know what you're looking at. But everybody,
Mm,
just like you said, everybody's doing the same way thing. But he found a way to make money off of it, and that's what
yep.
we always talk about. Like strength coaches talk about, like what can process you make to make money off it. Like, yeah, could I make money off of the post change system? Probably not. But would people want to hear it? Maybe. Who knows? I mean, I
They
think
would.
it's pretty good. I've taken from
AJ,
stuff.
you need to monetize some of this stuff.
Still, I know that's what everybody yells at me about, but I'm like, I don't know how to go about it. I say, remember, you've heard Fink talk about like we should get a. Remember when he was like, we should just get a wall. It's just AJ-isms, and it was like the back corner. We were
Mm.
just supposed to put, yeah, like I say this stuff, and it's gone. I'm on a gotta go do something else. So I need to start writing some of this stuff down. Man, though,
um
yeah,
yeah, You need to. You definitely need to.
Oh man, and I've been like so. The other person I've been like the weight, some of the weightlifting stuff too. There's a lot of stuff like Waxford. I was supposed to go like he has a podcast. I don't know if I'm smart enough to go on that one, but I don't know. We've been using Team Builder. I like showed him how to use or make it work. Like when you don't know where everything is on Team Builder, and I think I have a good way of using it. I think for people that don't want to like you're on it, but you're not like on it.
Mm,
Maybe I don't know. I feel like it works for me. Like the whiteboard's been big, the messaging, team newsfeed. I'm gonna start working on using evaluation because I think from what
that's a
I'm
good. I
looking
use it
at,
a lot.
see it. I think if I print that out and I can get the testing and numbers in faster because it's the roster, then it like I have like an evaluation point through because I'm getting jump mats. I'm getting jump mats and I want to start testing broad jump. So I was gonna, and then those are things I could test the whole school because I think I my goal culturally is to make it where it's not us versus or basketball versus football, this versus that. Like that's not like it needs to be us versus everybody school wise. So like if you got a team that's not training, you're calling that team out because this is our process. This is what we do at prep. Like
Yeah.
that would be like the overall goal because we got there's people walking the halls that probably they're like this that's probably a whole other topic, but like no one's multi sports anymore. It's like, do you know how many percentage kids go to college? It's 2 to 5. You're telling me within the state you're part of the 2 to 5%. You shrink that number when you don't multi sport. You
I
shrink
firmly
it.
believe that.
So like, why would you? We got guys that would not saying I'm not like preaching football or whatever, but I'm just saying like this would help your other sport. So it's been
Like I think genuinely believe that most of the most successful athletes have been multi-sport.
yeah, you gotta like because it like
It teaches you different movement patterns. It teaches how to handle different loads and ways of
yeah.
movement.
Fred Duncan just put out. You should see his gram. He just put out a thing about when you're not a multicultural athlete, you don't develop all the traits and you get hurt sooner. Like that
Mhm.
like if you're telling me you're just throwing a baseball, but you're not sprinting, you're not jump catching a basketball, you're not lifting, like you can't. How do you be good at? So what? Yeah, you made good at that one skill, but the traits needed to be overall at that skill you don't have. Yeah, that post is yeah that post is that's a good post just today. So that's what I'm trying to. At least if a kid's this is a great account by the way, but at least if a
Mhm.
kid is specializing, like at least train, like that's what the club man, the club sports they got all. That's not. I'm not saying here. I'm just saying overall, club sports are freaking. They're wild. It's a
Mm.
whole. That's new. Like that's a whole.
So actually, on this point, I have spoken on a couple podcasts now, and one question that gets asked often is like, what's the difference between UK and US? Well, like European sport and US sport, and I think the biggest difference is where the funding comes from, which
Mm-hmm.
obviously dictates opportunities, it dictates playing ability, whatever else that you want to look at. Um, European is government funded.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
you can
You guys are.
only, yeah, you can only put so much in to that sport that you make from Olympics, worlds. If
Yeah,
you
that's
win,
right.
funding's unreal. If you don't, shit. In the UK specifically, when we're looking at sports and where the funding goes down to, it's Team GB, right? So
Don't you
that
have to actually be
includes
good to be in that too? Like you got to be like. There's only one club, one feeder club, and it's literally to feed the Olympic team.
okay.
So
So hold that thought. So in Great Britain, there's Scotland, England, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Wales. So that's four countries. So that's four athlete pools that we can pull from. Funding from the Olympics, Worlds, and stuff goes to GB, which is London, England. So that means that Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales are getting shafted because they're not in the Olympic country. So then when we're talking about like sport funding, like I know the Scottish field hockey team have
mhm.
to pay for their traveling. So if they're in international competitions, they have to fund everything themselves. Where like the the field hockey team for GB wins medals at the Olympics. So then when you so it's good to fund that big project, that big team, but like the other countries are getting shafted.
Yes. So great. So London area gets for all the sports gets funding and no one else. Oh wow, that
Like they'll
sucks.
get a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's not it's nothing major that they can actually put in. Like these teams don't have S&C coaches. They don't have nutritionists. They don't
Oh yeah.
have PTs. Like most of it will be voluntary. If you have an
Yeah.
S&C coach, he'll either the team have pulled money together to fund that coach, or the coach is doing it voluntary.
That's insane, dude. That's man. So then compared to here, but yeah, but at least there it's not saturated like it is here per se. Oh, I was just doing this real quick.
It's not
All right.
saturated, but that's again, the saturation will come from the opportunities that
Yeah.
the US will have, because like a lot of it will be private donors, there'll be alumni, there'll be whatever the money or funding is coming from. Again, it's not on all levels. The higher up you are, the more funding that there will be. If you're like a D3 school, a lot of the coaches will probably be the students. But like on and all, like we don't even like there's only like a handful of schools, like high schools here, that have weight rooms.
And in great or in where you at right now?
Scotland. I'm
Oh,
talking like UK wide.
oh, that's what I'm saying. We have so now. I mean, I'll send you a bit, but this is. I mean, this is a big high. This is obviously better than my high school, but it's a private school. But yeah, that's the resources over here are wild compared.
Mm,
But if you're, but then, so if you're a person from Scotland, they need you, would they pull you and you play for? You're still playing for Scott in the
yeah.
Olympics. It's all of Great Britain, right?
Yes.
That is
Yes.
considered. So they would pull you from Scotland to. You'd have to move to London.
Yes.
Okay.
So Sally Conway, who was a Great British judo champion, she won
Hmm.
Olympics. She did the whole nine. She got, I think, in her last couple of years at the Olympics, she actually got kicked kicked out of the GB team because she didn't want to be in London.
Okay, she didn't want to live there.
Yep,
Wow.
her 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 club was Scotland. She wanted to stay in Scotland. Andy Murray, tennis.
Yes.
Anytime someone would call him a GB athlete, he would say Scottish.
So you're probably biased in this. So which one of the GBs actually has the athletes? Like without, like if you pull resources and it's just
Mhm.
straight traits, who's got them?
I would say it'll be between on where I'm thinking you're at. It'll either be Ireland
Ooh,
or Scotland,
ooh, okay, all right,
because there's a different type of hunger in these countries. Like England
yeah,
has more funding, they have the more opportunities, so it's easier to pick them out. But the
yeah,
athletes that are in Ireland or Scotland, I'll even include some Wales,
hmm,
they're a lot hungrier because there's so little opportunities for them to be in there.
they're like Rocky and like Rocky 3 when he was training with cameras.
Mhm.
Man, that's crazy. That's a. I mean, because here you got there's all the separate teams, and you have the trials, but it's like only four countries are competing there. But here, I mean, there's athletes all over the U.S. They
Yeah.
go, but then there's only like
And
select few.
and the thing is, the US is pretty much all of Europe combined.
Yes, just
Size
U.S.
wise.
yeah, yeah, nuts. The pool's so different too. And then that's not saying like you probably talked to people about this. Like if our American football players at track, that would be a completely different pool.
Mhm.
Not saying I mean there you got to train the quality, but like you go where the money's at. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's, man,
And that's the thing, like here, the really only sports that makes money is either rugby or soccer.
yeah,
That's it.
soccer makes a bunch of money,
Oh,
a
it's
bunch.
it's scary. It's
My God.
scary.
And then they're not even part of the like Great Britain. That's their own money, which makes it more crazy. So, man,
It is the strongest currency in the world.
that's all. Yep, that's all it is, baby. That's all you need within reason. sometimes.
It's
But
it's wild. It's wild. Like in the thing sports, like again, I know it's all tied to viewership, and that makes sense. But like some of these athletes are like so. The last Olympics that we had, there was a GB Olympic rower.
mhm,
She won gold medal. As soon as she got back from the Olympics, she had to do a 12-hour shift at the hospital she worked at.
I mean, that's the thing about the NIL. Like I've heard stories. I mean, back in the day, maybe those kids that were in the national championship or won it, like they were going back to eating, probably reheated McDonald's, and then the coach went back to their house. So that's why I'm saying the NIL is good for sure, but it has changed. Our NIL
Mm.
transfer portal have changed athletics, but I mean, I there are reasons why we do have it now for sure. Just like that lady after winning the Olympics shouldn't have to go back go to work at least for a little bit. Like you just representing your country, and now you're
Yeah,
going back to work, which I get it, but it's nuts. It's
that's
nuts.
wild. Appreciate you, AJ.